up your YouTube, search for Stukeley Meadows, watch on your big screen.
Or another device if you're at home.
Get yourself comfy, this could take a while. What a happy scene. Something new every day for your long-term memory. This is so exciting, it is nearly time for a Stukeley assembly.
Hi there everyone, and welcome to this week's curriculum assembly. Let's begin in our usual ways. For each other we, every day we, to improve we, and together we will. And our everyday focuses are, and our Stukeley motto is, and our Stukeley curriculum is, and 4 words that always make the magic happen. Brilliant. Well, here we are at another curriculum assembly. Last week, if you remember, we had Mr. Casey as our expert telling us all about his job as a police officer and how the subject of English was really important to that. I wonder if anyone can remember, though, exactly what aspects of policing he'd been focusing on recently and how, in particular, English as a subject helped him in his job. Pause me now and have a quick think. I am sure that you all remembered very well from last week's assembly. He'd been focusing on the police use of tasers, hadn't he? And how he needed really good English skills because he had lots of complicated reports to read and to write. But we also said that English is about reading, writing and speaking and listening, and certainly in his job, oral communication skills, so being able to communicate effectively when you're speaking was a really important part of that job too, and for other police officers like him. So a big thank you again to Mr. Casey for all he was able to share with us last week. So I hear you ask, what is this week's focus going to be? Well, actually, it's music. And before anyone gets worried, I'm not about to start singing to you, everyone, so you're okay. But we are going to meet an expert for whom music is actually their job. And we will find out a little bit more about that. But before we do meet our expert, I wanted to talk a little bit more about music at our school. So when you go to the studio and you have your music lessons, I wonder what you do and what you think you are learning when you go there. So pause me and have a little conversation and then we'll come back. So there are lots of things that you will do as part of your music lessons at Stukeley Meadows, but at our school when we learn music, there are 3 big ideas that kind of underpin and what we call provides a foundation for music learning. And those are creativity, voice and community. And that's really at the heart of what music is for us. Now, all of us spend time developing our singing skills as part of our music learning and performing and becoming performers in that to that extent. In year 1, we begin looking at percussion instruments and seeing how those work and beginning to put kind of music together in that way. We progress then into year 2 and all the way from year 2 to year 6, where we will do a unit on learning the ukulele. So we are learning how to actually play a musical instrument. And as part of that, we begin to look at how music is written. We're all very good at kind of reading words on a page, and we learn a lot about that in school. But music is also represented on a page using musical notes and other notation. And we learn about that a little bit at school as well. So as well as learning about singing and performing, which is a really important part of music, as well as beginning to learn instruments and looking at how music is written, we also spend time looking and listening to and exploring music of different genres. So we might look at some classical music, some orchestral music, We also look at music from all the way from pop to rap music, so that we begin to understand what we like and what we don't like. It's what we call developing preferences. What kind of music do we like? What do we like best, and why do we like that best? Or why do we not like that? Or why do we like that? All of those things are really important.
Hello, Stukeley Meadows Primary School. I'm Billy Stevens. I'm currently here in Leeds. Now, some of you might know who I am. I might have even taught some of you PE a few years ago, but a lot of you will actually know who my mum is. My mum is Mrs. Stevens, and she has probably taught quite a few of you over the years. Now, I grew up in Stukeley Meadows like many of you do, and I grew up with my mum, Mrs. Stevens, and my dad, Andy, and my sister, Grace. And we also have a dog called Winnie now, who some of you might have had the pleasure of meeting as well. In school, I was probably a little bit distracted. I probably talked too much. I think a lot of my reports said that I spoke too often when I wasn't meant to be, sometimes distracting other people, which I can sometimes still do now, but I don't get into as much trouble for now that I'm not in school. But it's something that I couldn't really get away from. I just enjoyed talking with lots of people. But I really enjoyed subjects like music, and I enjoyed PE. And as I say, some of you I might have even taught PE to in the past, but music is something that I've pursued over the years, starting playing guitar when I was about 5 years old. And now, 16 years later, I'm still here playing guitar and doing it more than ever probably now. Now, what I do now, as I've said, I still play guitar, and I do that quite a lot, and I work as a music director as well as a sound and media engineer. Now, I do that in various venues, as well as here in Life Church in Leeds, as well as one in Bradford as well. And that involves playing guitar on band and recording new songs, as well as trying to make the sound as good as possible on a Sunday. So we usually have a live band stood on our stage. I'll be sat here, I'll be mixing it all together to try and make it sound as good as possible, working with a team of people, working on lights and working on media, which I'm going to show you in a second. So, on our back desk, there's a lot going on. We have lots of people sat along here usually. We have our lighting desk sat up here, so any of these faders can make it go really dark or nice and bright again with all of our lighting. We also have our sound desk here, which is where as I say, spend most of my time. I'll be sat here trying to make a band that is stood on our nice big stage with drums, keyboards, guitars, singers and a bass, trying to make them sound as good as possible. So that's quite easy because we have very, very many good musicians. But I sit here at this desk, changing the faders, trying to make things sound really, really nice working together. And we also have, as we walk over here, we have Media World. So media over here is how we get graphics such as this onto our screen. So we work here with song lyrics and different videos to put onto the screen to make it a good visual experience for everyone that is coming along. Now, my favourite part of the job is quite a difficult one to pin down, as I do quite a few different things, but I think it goes between playing guitar. I like to play guitar for various people. I like to travel and go and play in different places, which I've been fortunate enough to do. But I also enjoy being sat here as a sound engineer, making everything sound very, very nice together, making everything nice and loud, as that's how I like to listen to music, everything really nice and loud. And that is something that I've enjoyed for a very, very long time. And coming from playing guitar to sitting here at a sound desk, mixing everything together is probably the most enjoyable part of what I do. Now, the biggest challenge in what I do is the fact that I have to work with lots of different people. Sometimes it can be quite difficult as I work with various different bands and different artists, and they sometimes have a slightly different idea to what I have, especially if we're working in a studio. They might see things sounding one way and I have a different idea, but because I'm employed by them, I sometimes have to just go with what they say and keep them happy to be able to keep working for them, and then I can get future jobs with them going forward with that as well. But sometimes I just got to let my own opinion go to the side and do what fits for everyone else. Even here doing live sound, sometimes I'd like it nice and loud like it was a rock concert, but other people might not like that, and so I have to adjust it to make sure it's good for everybody as well. Now, the best advice I'll give to anyone looking to go into music or going into media or sound is just practice. So as I say, I played guitar from 5 years old and I've pretty much never put it down. I've always practiced and worked on it to try and get better and to improve myself. And I've been able to go to various different places to play now, traveling and playing to thousands of people, and which is a great experience. And as well with sound and sound engineering, it's just getting hands-on. Get hands-on with stuff as soon as you can. Find somewhere good that will let you play with a sound desk or play with a lighting desk or play with media, and then you can get hands-on with it. You can practice and improve at what you want to do. And I think that's the best part, and don't let people tell you that it's an inconsistent job, even though it can be sometimes. If you're good at it and you keep working at it, you'll find the jobs and you'll be able to be successful in that field. Right, thank you, Stukeley Meadows. Hopefully I will see you soon. Bye.
Well, a big thank you to today's expert, Billy Stevens. He looked terribly familiar. Anyway, I wonder if you knew that having a career in music wasn't necessarily just about playing an instrument. Although Billy said he does play an instrument a lot, part of what he does is not about playing the instrument, but is what we would call kind of behind the scenes stuff. Becoming a sound engineer and looking at the production of music, maybe in a recording studio or maybe on a live stage, balancing all of those sounds together, working out what sounds good and what doesn't sound good. That's quite an interesting side of music too, isn't it? I wonder if you noticed how complicated that sound and media desk looked. There were so many buttons and switches, weren't there? So much to do and so much kind of moving about, getting things just right. So you've got to have a really good attention to detail, I think. It also occurred to me when Billy was talking that as well as music, there was quite a lot of computing involved there. I saw lots of laptops, and those are certainly used to help kind of balance all the sound frequencies and help you get things just right. When you go to secondary school at some stage, quite a few of your music lessons will be in a computer suite where you'll be using specific music programs to compose pieces of music, and I'm sure you'll really enjoy that. So there's that two sides to music, isn't there? The practical side of playing an instrument, and also the other side of producing music and putting that together, and maybe using computers to help you with that. So quite interesting. Well, remember what Billy said. He said that to be an expert in music involves a lot of hard work, but also, like most things, it involves a lot of practice. So particularly if you want to be a musician, you are going to have to practice every day. And I know for a fact that Billy practiced every day for years and years with his guitar, and he didn't even need to be reminded to do so. So practicing, really, really important in becoming an expert. There we have it, everybody. That was today's expert. We learned a lot about music and how we might use that in a career and what we can do to learn more about music in school. Hope everybody has a really great week coming up. I wonder who will be our expert next week. Who knows? Until then, take care, everyone. Work hard, be kind. See you next time.
Oh, I love a Tuesday assembly. I love meeting the expert. I wonder who it will be next week. Mrs. Stevens is finding some absolute crackers at the moment. Let's celebrate some Stukeley birthdays. Hey Hey, 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 it's time to say we've got a Stukeley birthday. Hey, 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 it's time to say we've got a Stukeley birthday. Oh, come on! Happy birthday to Amelia in year 4. I saw Amelia yesterday and she said, it's my birthday tomorrow. And I said, I know it is. I've got the book. Happy birthday, Amelia. Hope you've had fun with friends and family already. Lots more to come. Another year older. Brilliant job. Okay. Everyday knowledge. And we are learning to remember things worth remembering. Learning to remember things worth remembering. Learning to remember things worth remembering. Everyday knowledge for you. And we are learning to remember things worth remembering. Learning to remember things worth remembering. Learning to remember things worth remembering. Everyday knowledge for you. Okay, no map today. We are going for maths, maths, maths. 1 times 2 is, 2 times 2 is, 3 times 2 is, 4 times 2 is, 5 times 2 is, 6 times 2 is, 7 times 2 is, 8 times 2 is, 9 times 2 is, 10 times 2 is, 11 times 2 is, 12 times 2 is, 1 times 3 is, 2 times 3 is, 3 times 3 is, 4 times 3 is, 5 times 3 is, 6 times 3 is, 7 times 3 is, 8 times 3 is, 9 times 3 is, 10 times 3 is, 11 times 3 is, 12 times 3 is. How many seconds in a minute? That's right, 60. How many minutes in 1 hour? 60, that's right. How many hours in a day? That's right, 24. How many days in a year? 365. How many days in a leap year? 366. How many months in a year? That's right, 12. Let's do the months. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Okay, which month comes after June? July, that's right. Which month comes before November? October, that's right. Okay, interesting. How many millimetres in a centimetre? 10. How many centimetres in a metre? 100. How many metres in a kilometre? 1,000. How many kilometres in a mile? 1.6. See you next time.